Because it's Freedom Monday. To all of our viewers on Synergy TV, all of our viewers on the Caribbean Showtime television in Canada, all of our listeners on U975 FM Multicultural Radio, a very warm welcome to another edition of the program Conversations with Zelisa, where we continue to inform, educate, empower, and answer those unanswered questions. I am Zelisa Budusing Rupani, humbly inviting you to sit back, relax, enjoy. Get your pen, get your paper so you can take notes. That will be helpful for you and your loved ones. Directing this morning and in Master Control, Hisham Costello. On behalf of the team, I'd like to wish each and every one of you a marvelous day today. It's Freedom Monday, and of course, it's Monday, the 17th of July, 2023. It is a day and time we'll never have the opportunity to have again. If you're celebrating a birthday, happy birthday to you. If it's your anniversary, happy anniversary to you and yours. Let's quickly go to our quote for today, coming to us with the kind compliments of Fab in the Expo. And our quote says, kindness is more than deeds. It is an attitude, an expression, a look, a touch. It is anything that lifts another person. That came to us with the kind compliments of Fab India Expo. Remember to check them out. Make it a family affair, a day out, because you could get shopping, great food in their food court, and of course the PlayStation for their children. They are located opposite Medford gas station in Chaguanas. Let's say a very good morning and a very warm welcome going out to Dr. Burindradat Tiwari. Doctor, good morning. Welcome to Freedom Monday.
Thank you. It's very nice to be here again. Morning to all our viewers and listeners, and thank you for tuning in. I want to go straight into the program, into an interview with Minister Foster Cummings, who is the Minister of Youth and Youth Matters in Trinidad and Tobago, but he is also the General Secretary of the PNM. And the reason I'm doing this right away is because Minister Cummings has a meeting right about this time, and he has kindly agreed to do the interview first and then go to the meeting. So I want to thank him very much for doing that. And good morning, Minister Cummings. Could we have him on, please? Hi.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for agreeing. I know you have a short time, and I will try to make it as crisp as possible. Answer freely and truthfully, and we will address the issue of the campaign ahead of you and ahead of all the political parties in Trinidad and Tobago. So the first thing I'll ask you to do is if you could sort of give people a sense of the nature and conduct of the campaign that the PNM is having. Can you tell us something about that? Because I know that you are leading that as General Secretary of the party.
Well, what I can view and Trinidad would look to that the PNM, of course, in the usual organization, has the power of candidate to contest all the seats in the government election. We have to done this occasion that we can show we have a choice in Canada. We launched our Canada, sometime for the state where the candidates and following that, we managed to get on campaigning house to house, meeting electors on one basis. And this is how we have been conducted. Of course, the public meetings, but the main trust, the methodology, candidates outcomes and the letter. There is.
All right. What kind of response are these candidates getting from the electorate? And what is the sense of the party about the response? And the reason I ask that question is because I sense from talking to people on many camps, because I'm familiar with some of the people, some of the candidates, some of the activists in the various camps, because there are many parties this time. I don't sense that there's a lot of enthusiasm for going out to vote. I mean, what has been the response to your candidates?
Well, as you know, the local governments are the team and therefore the interest is similarly out wow, in terms of what some experience those who so interested in the welcome in the university and whereas with traditional better than but all the candidates have I think response that
Yeah, I mean, the response must be different in your strongholds as opposed, let's say, to the marginals, and also in the areas where the opposition is stronger. And how do you conduct your campaign or change your campaign strategy to accommodate that? How do you campaign your strongholds as opposed to your marginals or in the hardcore opposition constituencies? How does that affect how you behave with your voters?
Well, we stick to this particularly is sticking to the government for.
Dr. Borendra Tiwari will continue his conversation with Minister Cummings when we return. Stay with us.
See if you can get
Let's go, let's go, let's go!
Where?
The Fab India Expo Shiguanas, they have announced their final extension.
Final extension?
I thought they were going to be here for a little while. I have a whole list to shop for.
You always wait for last minute.
You know how much I like bargains. Last time they were closing, I got nearly 80% off.
They've got their Dosa festival happening as well. I need to tell my friends about it.
I will eat tandoori chicken, naan, butter chicken, biryani. Oh gosh, my mouth watering.
Also, I want to try their Bombay head massage.
I'll get a pedicure. You know the spa? They have 50% off on a Tuesday.
We have a few days left. They're closing on Monday, July 17th.
Monday the 17th of July.
Yes, Fab India Expo, opposite Medford Gas Station, Shiguanas. Closing on Monday, July 17th.
Welcome back to the program Conversations with Zelisa. It's Freedom Monday with Dr. Borendra Tiwari. Welcome back, Dr. Tiwari. And of course, let's welcome back Minister Foster Cummings. Sir, good morning and welcome back.
Sorry for that disruption there. But you were saying that your main campaign is local government reform, and you take that wherever you go. Is that right?
Yes. That is correct. We are sticking to what we are, what pushing for that is strengthen the local governments, make sure that all the services moderate the system and giving more power to executive council that we can.
All right. How does the fact that in the public imagination, mind, spirit, consciousness, crime is such a big issue, And wherever you go, whatever part of the country that you go, that is the thing you might say topmost on their mind. How is that affecting the way that they respond to you when you go to the campaign?
Well, I mean, the issue of crime is of concern to all of us. Since we all have our role to play in assisting the authorities in battle cases of crime, we track the crime as kind of national security, the various arms of the national apparatus. That will be public sometime next week, and I know we are better. But in this campaign, we want to put the emphasis on the non and what we are taking is the improve of the government. While the central government can continue all that it can to make sure that we will face and treat the issues of crime. Of course, that's it.
Yeah. And another thing that has been very troubling in the public mind, and especially I would say in the business community, but in the general community because of how it has evolved, is this issue of significant amendments to the procurement law that seem to suggest that a law that was focused on transparency, accountability, etc., good governance, is somehow being adjusted to accommodate not so good practice. How would you respond to that? Do these things affect people on the ground in the campaign? Are they concerned about things like that?
Well, the procurement of goods and services by the government, of course, is a trap with offices in that. I have not significantly during this campaign raising this matter since we are in Parliament endlessly in relation, and I'm sure state needs of matter of procurement legislation, which has been claimed, and of course we continue to provide services to the where there are issues that will prevent the government from doing this. The government will have Parliament as we propose to the people.
All right. Do you look forward to this local government campaign here as giving you a favorable result at the end? How do you feel about that? Are you confident? Are you uncertain? Are you unsure? Are you saying in your mind, well, ultimately it depends on the people? Or are you saying, look, we have a good machinery, our own party people are loyal, and we have a good campaign, and we are going to come out stronger and we're going to win? How do you feel? What is your psychological mood?
Well, we do not ever go into election thinking that we will win and win convincingly. We do hold 7 of the corporations at this time. The UNC holds the other 7. We propose to keep the 7 that we have. We are working feverishly to take some of the corporations held by the UNC right now. We are not opposed to public debate, of course, we are placing our greatest emphasis, but it's our intention to hold what we have and take some of the corporations held by the UNC right now. We rule with a very positive spirit, because of course we know that we are going to bring improvement in local government system, and it is our policy that will ensure that that happens. So, of course, we in as many of the corporations as possible is our.
But are the issues that you are taking to the population, like local government reform, are the issues that are on people's minds, or is there a disconnect between what your party sees as important and what the people see as important? Is there some kind of disconnect there? And how do
No, there's no,
you make that bridge?
well, there's no disconnect. We are very clear that the issues that the person will raise are of importance to the government as a government entity to address all these issues. We are saying, however, that in terms of our local government system, it's important to all of us, and the delivery of services at local and community level. What is important is keeping those systems. Everybody wants to make sure that issues of garbage collection, infrastructure, local level, and so forth, that we're able to deliver those things. The local government machine will be able to do so. So we are making sure that we indicate to the national community the importance of improving that system. The other matters, we continue as a government to address those matters, and they're of course very important. But what the opposition continues to do is to focus other issues as major issues in our local government election, and really that wins the discussion. But at the end of the day, what is critical is making sure we have a workable local government, and that's what this election is all about.
Yeah, but I suppose parties will choose what they think are the issues that will resonate with the population. And that's why I'm asking you whether there is a clear connect or a disconnect. And you basically said that what you are doing is something which connects with the thinking and the needs of the population. Let me ask you a hard question because it's based on uncertainty. After the elections, what is going to happen? Because this is a local government election. When the elections are over, your government will still be in office. What will happen if you win the local government election? In other words, if you make gains, or what will happen if you make losses? And how would that scenario be different and affect you going forward?
Well, I don't know that it's a hard question. The more thing is properly believe, but the market, of course, if we get new election, we are going to be very grateful for that, and we will move forward in terms of we'll take the certain to a positive light in terms of the population response to the government's policy. If the result is different, which I think that that's going to be, then we take stock of that and of course look at our approach to move forward. But are you in a
I didn't get your last sentence actually. All right. I will give you this closing question now because I promised not to keep you more than 20 minutes and I know you have commitments. And it is this. Do you feel momentum building up in your campaign? Do you feel enthusiasm building up in the population? Or is this an upward battle as you go forward towards August the 14th?
No, the momentum is we had a very successful engage the population tomorrow
All right. Is there anything you want to say as you leave?
Well, I want to invite you to
All right. I want to thank you very much, Minister, for agreeing to come on the program and for making the accommodations necessary with your schedule to have this conversation. And I thank you very, very much. Have a wonderful day today.
Thank you and have a great day.
All right then.
And of course, we say thanks and gratitude to Minister Cummings for his contribution. Welcome back. And of course, at this time, we're going to take a short break. Let's take in some important messages. When return, we continue. Of course, Dr. Burindradat Tiwari continues his conversation right here on the program, Conversations with Zelisa. Thank you so much for choosing us. Let's go to these important messages.
Let's go, let's go, let's go!
Where?
The Fab India Expo Shoguanas, they have announced their final extension.
Final extension?
I thought they were going to be here for a little while. I have a whole list to shop for.
You always wait for last minute.
You know how much I like bargains. Last time they were closing, I got nearly 80% off.
They've got their Dosa festival happening as well. I need to tell my friends about it.
I will eat tandoori chicken, naan, butter chicken, biryani. Oh gosh, my mouth watering.
Also, I want to try their Bombay head massage.
I'll get a pedicure. You know the spa? They have 50% off on a Tuesday.
We have a few days left. They're closing on Monday, July 17th.
Monday the 17th of July.
Yes, Fab India Expo, opposite Medford Gas Station, Shoguanas. Closing on Monday, July 17th.
Super quality supermarket. Best quality and great prices. Get your fresh fruits, vegetables and meats. It's a one-stop shop for the most affordable groceries, baby items, kitchen supplies, bathroom accessories, car care supplies, pet food, toys and lots more, all at Super Quality Supermarket. Wide aisles, fully air-conditioned and secured parking. 3 locations nationwide: Couva Car Park, Couva, 98 Endeavour Road, Shoguanas, and 47 Tissue Drive, Trincity. Super Quality Supermarket.
Welcome to OATS, Optimal Alternative Treatment Solutions Limited, the future of healthcare, which provides full body scans, which we detect and treat cancer, tumors, all heart conditions, cysts, fibroids, dementia, Parkinson's, just to name a few. No radiation and medication is not needed. If you are tired of getting no results, call us at 354-4459 or 356-7226.
Welcome back to the program Conversations with Zelisa. To all of our viewers on Synergy TV, all of our viewers on the Caribbean Showtime television in Canada, all of our listeners on U975 FM Multicultural Radio, welcome back. It's Freedom Monday with Dr. Burindradat Tiwari. Doctor, welcome back.
Thank you very much, Zelisa. And good morning to all of you, listeners and viewers. This morning, I know we had a little problem there with the audio, but I hope you got most of what the minister said. I was interested in learning from the point of view of each one of the parties, how they see the campaign, how they view the electorate's enthusiasm, how they go about their business, and what is likely to happen. As you know, local government elections are not what you might call heavily subscribed in Trinidad and Tobago. Okay? What happens for local government elections is you generally have a turnout of less than 40%. In the last election, we had about 35%, 34 point something. And the time before that, we had approximately the same kind of percentage. Now, the question is whether we will have about that level of turnout again this time, whether we will have less or whether we will have more. And that has to do with the vibrancy of an electorate. It has to do with the feelings of the electorate about whether the election matters to them. It has to do with the campaigns that are conducted by the people, and it has, with the people, sorry, and it has to do with the level of enthusiasm that you are able to gain. And, you know, I mean, in a fundamental way, elections really are based on what you might call psychological meeting grounds. This business of connection is what determines what happens in the mind and the heart and the spirit, and ultimately what determines human behavior, and then of course human disposition with that behavior, and finally action on election day, because in the morning you have to get up and decide whether you're going to vote or not, and you might let 6 p.m. come and you don't vote, and or you might decide, well, okay, I'm going to do it. But I don't think that that is affected unless there is some kind of infection in the campaign, and I think that is what I'm kind of searching for. I want to let you know that in my life I've tried to always be fair and equitable in my dealings with all. And we have asked all the political parties, and those, I think there are 2 that we did not ask yet. We have asked all the political parties to appear, and everyone that we've asked has agreed. So we look forward to them sending their representatives so that we can engage them here and they can present their point of view. Next week, Monday, we are going to have other representatives of other political parties, and we will continue until we have exhausted the political parties that are actually contesting the elections in this local government. So that you will get a chance to see who are the leaders, what are they saying about their campaign. When you meet them on the ground, you can talk to them or their representatives and so on. And I want to say that every single party has been or will be invited. Those actually contesting the elections, and we will see how we can get them to speak with you and speak to the issues.
Doc,
right?
Doc, if you'll allow me to
Yes,
indulge,
go ahead.
You have been part of government. You've played a very important role in this country. You've worn many hats. One of them being you've been the principal of the university.
Yeah.
You've written books. You've been able to make strategic decisions in government in terms of making change. You've been part of it.
Yes.
So you're part of it. You understand the dynamics of what is happening.
Yes.
We are at a time now in our country where we're in troubled waters. That's a fact. Crime, 300 plus, and we're into the 7th month of this year. No water for weeks. People are crying. Infrastructure, our health system is compromised in many, many ways. And with all of the adrenaline and all of the energy and all of the different things that's happening, as you indicated when you were talking to Minister earlier on, what happens to the minds of those? Do they, because of the adrenaline, the energy, and all of the excitement that's happening to the build-up, you talk about people coming out and changing, voting, the importance of voting, and that seems to be a problem to get them to get up and say, I want change, I want a difference. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts are people do want change, but they are unclear about the options and the kind of change that their own actions will bring. And I think this is where the dilemma is. I think that there's a kind of uncertainty about the politics and the ability of political parties to represent the interest of people. And I think that is where the challenge is. But I'm going to be talking now to Gary Griffith.
Correct, yes.
Yeah. Gary Griffith is the leader of the National Transformation Alliance, and he is a person who has served in government. He served as Commissioner of Police, and he has been Minister of National Security in this country. He is now the leader of a political party. And we are going to engage him, ask him some of the same questions that we asked Foster.
Great.
To get a different perspective, because I'm sure the perspectives will be different. And we are going to ask him some other questions that might be of interest. So can we get Mr. Gary Griffith on the line, please? On the video?
Yes, there you go.
Good morning, Gary. How are you?
Hi, good morning, Dr. Tiwari.
Thank you so much. I know you had to make some adjustments to be here this morning. And I want to thank you very much for coming on the program. So we're going to have a free-flowing conversation. And I mean, I always conduct things in a democratic way. So I'm going to let you have your say. I will ask you questions that I feel are necessary for the public to know and understand better. And we will proceed that way. So tell me a little bit. You are leading the National Transformation Alliance, and you are in a coalition with the UNC for the purposes of the local government election. Tell me a little bit about how you are proceeding with the campaign, what's happening on the campaign, and what kind of progress you sense that you are making.
Sure. So, you hear me okay?
Yes.
I'm getting an echo when I speak. I'm hearing myself.
I can actually hear you very clear, sir.
When I'm speaking, I'm still hearing myself, but that's okay. Let me proceed then. You, Dr. Tiwari, will know more than most that the situation of a coalition, this started in 1986. And I am very strategic as a political leader, as a politician, as a patriot of this country. It is obvious and it is clear-cut that every single time there's a coalition in Trinidad and Tobago, the PNM would lose 100% of the time. In 1986, in 1995, in 2010 general election, and in 2010 local government. Every single time there's not a coalition, the PNM would always win, except on one occasion, and that government lasted a few months. So the data is there. The NTA is seen as that bridge constituency. We call it the third party. It started with ONR with 91,000 votes in 81. It then went to NAR on their own 127,000 votes in 1991. The COP into 2007 with 147,000 votes, and it will continue to build. That has always been the catalyst. The outcome of any national election is based on what that party decides to do. Whether they go on their own, whether they join with the UNC or the ULF at the time, where it is that they are not there and it becomes a two-horse race, and with the two-horse race, the PNM would usually win. So what we have seen, however, is that the strategic alliance has the NTA dealing with the corporations like boroughs in Diego Martin, Port of Spain, Samuel Laventil, Tunapuna, Piapo, Arima, and Point Fortin. And what I've seen, Doctor, is that it's almost identical to what we picked up in 2010. So when we're looking at the data of the 2010 local government election, you're seeing the same flip over of those persons who may not necessarily be supportive or be a member of the UNC, but they want to reject the PNM, and that is where we have given them that opportunity. That added to the UNC votes in specific areas that would have been seen as hardcore PNM areas is what caused us to win those corporations in 2010, that being Diego Martin, Tunapuna, Arima, and San Fernando. And may I also add what we are seeing in Point Fortin can also be a flip over factor.
Okay, so are you sensing in your campaigning that momentum that you spoke of in 2010 is repeating itself in 2023?
Yes, dear doctor, definitely. That is exactly what I'm sensing. I mean, I have walked the hills of Ukarit. I've walked in Lavantil Road, Paramin, Maraval, Sealots, Duggan Street, George Street, Nelson Street, Aruka, Arima, all through Point Fortin. And that is what I am. I was there in 2007 with the COP. I was there in 2010 with the People's Partnership. And what we are seeing is that type of disenchantment of people being totally frustrated, and they want to send that loud and clear message, not so much so to the PNM, but that to Keith Rowley. And that is where it is that we are seeing the information being passed with the polls and so forth, showing that those seats are now up, those corporations. So initially, I think the PNM's game plan was to put their focus on San Fernando to retain and Sangre Grande to win. Now, because of this alliance that has taken place, because they knew that they would have easily won those corporations in the corridor and a two-horse race with the UNC, they now have to reallocate their resources and their funding to make sure they maintain their rear echelon corporations, because they may very well lose those.
So you think we are likely to see then penetration in places like the Diego Martin Corporation, Port of Spain City Council, Samoa, Lavantil, etc., as you come down the corridor? In other words, seats are going to be taken from the PNM, and it is possible that corporations or councils can be taken from the PNM. That is what you sense?
Yes, doctor, definitely. And as I said, so that is what happened. Right now, it is 7-7 in corporations.
That's correct.
In 2010, it was 11-3, I think, 11-3. The four corporations that the PNM lost would have been Diego Martin, Tunapuna, Arima, and San Fernando. And now Point Fortin also becomes a factor. So best case scenario could very well become 12-2. Worst case scenario is that after walking in San Fernando, I walked with the UNC candidates in San Fernando, because it is now 6-3 in San Fernando, but to the PNM. But two of those 6 seats, they won by 55 and 80 odd votes. So I went to those areas to get the flip over for those persons who would have been the ONR/NAR/COP/NTA voters. And they now have given the assurance that they are now going to come out to vote for the UNC candidate. And winning those 2 seats will now ensure that the UNC will win San Fernando. So I'm looking at worst case scenario will be 8-6, with several seats being won in the corridor for the NTA. Best case scenario could be 12-2 for the alliance, with us taking the corporations of Diego Martin, Tunapuna, Arriba, and Point Fortin.
But let me ask you something. If what you are saying is true, and that were to happen, what is likely to happen after the local government elections?
Yeah, I was hoping you would ask that, doctor. And I think you may have been around in 1983. So after the ONR in 1981, that third constituency understood the dynamics of the politics. You have 91,000 votes, you didn't get a seat because of how our constitution is structured. There was then a strategic alliance in the 1983 local government election, where the ONR took specific seats that were PNM stronghold, and the ULF kept their seats in the other areas. And it proved to be effective. That was used as a platform to build a good working relationship of a strategic alliance to form the NAR for the 1986 general election. So my intention is to operate in the same manner, use this as an avenue to build some degree of a foundation to ensure that there's good collaboration, good communication, and mutual respect and trust between the parties, to have this local government election used not just to win and defeat the PNM, but more so to build that foundation to ensure that in 2025 general election, we can move from there. So my intention is just from August the 15th, start working with the other political parties who are not part of this, because this is not about UNC and the NTA. This is about trying to unite Trinidad and Tobago. It is something that Basio Pandey continued to push for even when it was the 1818 in 2001. And this one, there are several parties of substance that I see that they can play, the individuals in those parties can play a very strategic role in the next government in 2025. And you know, I go the concept, doctor, that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. People try to misinterpret or trivialize certain parties because they may not have a great following. But the individuals in the parties, being part of a strategic alliance, working alongside, not under the NT or for the NT, but with the NT, us being equal partners, then working with the UNC, I think we can get this done. People complain about coalitions, Doctor, but the over 80 countries in the world had coalition governments or presently have, over 30 in Europe, a dozen in the Americas, Asia, Africa. Many have worked, some have not. But it's the same thing you could say about governments. I think the People's Partnership was a rush job because you ran to that Pfizer but report after a snap election was called. This time now we have time to have a proper structure, to have dialogue, to make sure there's a proper framework to ensure that we will not repeat the mistakes of the past.
So you see this local government election as critical to you and your fortunes and the fortunes of the opposition parties, the traditional opposition and yourself in this coalition. And you see this as a platform for building something like was built in 2010 and also 1986. This is what you are seeing as possible?
Yes, Doctor, definitely. Because, I mean, you're looking at other parties, such as the Congress of the People, that may be very, very small at this time. But there's a history of the COP. We're looking at the MSJ, we look at HOPE, and the party now formed by David John. There are several parties that I think that could be of substance and definite relevance. Working with us, working together, it will build the base of that bridge constituency. So this bridge constituency is not an NTA thing. The NTA is a symbolic name to represent that bridge constituency of those persons who would like to be part of a different system, structure, political party other than the PNM and the UNC. But I think working that together, it is going to have a very dynamic team of individuals that can assist in the transformation of Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay, you are saying that there's a lot of hostility to the governing party, the PNM, and particularly to the Prime Minister as the leader of that party. But what is it that the coalition is offering people that you think will give them the enthusiasm to come out and actually support them to create the conditions for such a coalition as you talk about?
Oh, sure. Well, several things. First is a degree of hope. The country seems hopeless right now. They have lost the appetite of believing that Trinidad and Tobago can be transformed. This gives that degree of hope for the country. The second is that there's a degree of bitterness by many persons who have actually been previous PNM supporters, and they want to send that message to Keith Rowley. When I walk those places I spoke about in Cocorate, in Lavantil, in Sealots and Claude Street, Duncan Street, they have all, every single place that I went that I just called, they have never seen the political leader of the PNM, never. And they were shocked to see a political leader of a party walking in PNM heartland areas. And that is leadership by example. You can't be a political leader and your only job is to just go on a platform and spit venom on opponents of other political parties, which brings to the other factor. Many persons are frustrated with the nastiness and the bitterness and the hatred that we are hearing from politicians, senior politicians, more so from Keith Rowley himself. I always say that you can't want to lead a country if you keep showing that you hate half of the country. It is the right of anyone to support whichever party they want. But you go on a platform and all you do is to spit hatred, venom, division, and dare I say, even to the verge of wanting us of looking at civil war. When you speak his later comment about asking the country, telling the country that you're giving guns to one race to kill another. In other countries in the world, that could be treason. That an election could be called based on a prime minister making a statement like that, but it's become the norm. And what we have seen is that the public want change. They want to take away the hatred, the bitterness. They want to see Trinidad and Tobago united. Just as much, the same way it is, there's been an absence of leadership by the political leader never being around those areas. They have, every single place I went, we asked the question, when last have you seen that PNM councillor? And they would have said 2019. So they know that there's been an absence of persons pulling up their sleeves and doing the job. Gary Griffith has put it into myself. It will give me the opportunity to transform many of the corporations in improving the status of their security. So the perception that local government election is just about box trains and roads being fixed. No, it is about leadership. It is about management. It is about putting a structure, and it's about serving people and making yourself accessible, which is what many of the citizens in that East-West corridor have claimed, that there is no accessibility, far less being able to get in contact with persons that have these concerns rectified.
what is the message that you are giving to the population that is resonating the most as you do your walks through the constituency?
That degree of belief that politicians can serve, that politicians will not disappear after you get them into office. Believe that not every politician is corrupt. Believe that we are willing to work hard and serve you. And that is resonating because people would have seen how I operated as the Commissioner of Police. As a Commissioner of Police, I was very accessible, not just to the media, but to every single citizen. Which crazy person in public office will give his phone number to every single person who wanted to contact him? And by me walking the streets, as I said, of Sealots, Paramin Hills, Caranage, George Street, Nelson Street, Aruca, Trinity, Arima, Point Fortin, San Fernando, they've never seen someone as a political leader in those areas doing that. So they believe that if this man could do this now, we have seen how he operated as a commissioner. He will be everywhere with those persons on the ground. It is leadership by example. And because of that, that is what is resonating to many who are saying, look, we want to give them a chance, even though this has been a PNM area. We have realized we have been sidelined, we have been discredited, we have been ignored. And if he is going to be on the ground like this at this time, we expect that he will ensure that our councillors will also do the same. And that is what is causing the flip over vote.
All right, Gary, I want to thank you very, very much for talking with us this morning. And we're going to take a break now, and we'll come back and we'll spend about 5 more minutes to close up, if that's all right with you.
Yes, certainly.
I will see you in a minute or so.
Let's go to these important messages. This is Conversations with Zelisa. Of course, it's Freedom Monday with Dr. Gurendranath Tiwari, special guest, Mr. Gary Griffith. Let's go to these important messages. When we return, we continue the conversation. Stay with us.
Visit Agri Savers Limited, number 19 Orange Grove Trace, St. Augustine, for all your agriculture, livestock, pet, agri-equipment, hydroponics, cannabis, fishing tackle supplies, and much more. Open Monday to Friday 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Contact 473-6074, 663-1094. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Therapeutic treatments and tutoring by Nandi, certified occupational massage therapist and reflexologist, specialized in all types of therapeutic treatments like massages, reflexology, medicopping, detoxification, sinus drainage, body analysis scans, supplements, and much more. Call or WhatsApp today at 320-7256 or 323-2060. Passage to Asia, the award-winning restaurant and banquet suite located in the heart of Chaguanas, the best fusion food restaurant in Trinidad and Tobago. From the second you enter to the moment you leave, you will be treated like royalty. Come dine in luxury and enjoy the finest combination of Asian cuisine prepared by skilled and qualified chefs at Passage to Asia. The experience is truly unforgettable, perfect for families, couples, and large groups. Passage to Asia, located at St. Ives Street, Chaguanas. Contact 672-2701. Also, visit us on Facebook and Instagram.
Charan's Bookstore for all your school books, stationery items, uniforms, shoes, board games, toys, and much more. Visit them at any of their 3 branches located at 24 Eastern Main Road, Quezay, San Juan. Telephone number 675-9024 or 675-3607. 53 Eastern Main Road, Tunapuna, 663-1884, 663-1476, or 645-3878. Trin City Mall, Trin City, contact them at 640-3155.
Calm down, calm down.
Check out Charan's Bookstore.
Welcome back. It's Freedom Friday. Let's continue the conversation it's Freedom Monday. Thank you, Sir Doctor, with Mr. Gary Griffith. Mr. Griffith, welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gary. Let me ask you something. I mean, when you talk just now, it's clear that you think that leadership is a factor, notwithstanding that this is a local government elections in which people want to have their community problems solved, like garbage and roads and drains and so on. So leadership is a factor. What do you think is the most decisive factor in people determining whether they are going to vote for the PNM candidates in this local government elections, or whether they're going to vote for a candidate opposed to the PNM, like somebody from the NTA or somebody from the UNC or somebody from one of the other parties? What is going to be the most decisive factor in that? And what is likely to be the decisive factor that says, I am going to vote or I stay in home?
Yeah, you're correct. I did get that because, I mean, going into...
Yeah, we need to get... Great.
Right.
Welcome back.
Okay, great.
Hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
very good.
Yeah, you're correct, Doctor, because I did get that. Going into PNM heartland areas that I spoke about, especially Diego Martin, Port of Spain, Samuel Laventil, Tunapuna, Arima, and Point Fortin, the persons who would have been previous PNM voters till they die, you're getting about 40% of them stating that they're not going to vote. Because to them, sometimes voting for parties is no longer a cult, it's a cult. And you say, I have to vote for this party. But many of them are just frustrated and they are not going to vote because of how there has been lack of representation by the PNM. The others have decided that, yes, they are going to give us the chance. They may not have done it for the UNC in those heartland areas because there has been that, it has been infiltrated into them with that degree of bitterness. But they are willing to give the chance to the NTA, being that bridge constituency. And the main thing, which is very strange, is that even though you're correct, Doctor, this is a local government election, you will think it's about box drains and bridges and roads and lights and water. Strange enough, the 9 out of 10 persons we speak to, the concern is crime. So, and you may think that it is that way, that this is a local government election. Where does crime come in this? But the walks that I said, I've met tens of thousands of people. I've just been walking, and everywhere we go, it is that 90%, it is the concern of crime. So this has become a very strange type of local government election. It is not an ordinary local government election. And I think because of that, you're going to get a much higher turnout. It may not be the 60% odd you get in a general, but it's definitely not going to be that mid-30s that you will see in local government. And this concern of crime is what you keep getting. And it is not to believe that local government election is something that crime is not supposed to be a subject matter. Hearing the Prime Minister state that the other night, it shows his concern. By him keep pushing the envelope of stating, this is a local government election and they keep dealing with other issues. He wants to trivialize the situation with crime, but that is what these citizens, the voters, are speaking about everywhere I go. And they want to know that if it is we vote to ensure that the cooperation is won by the NTA/UNC, would you now have the opportunity to assist us, assist our communities, our neighborhood, by doing the things that you would have done as commissioner to make us safer? And the answer is yes. So even though I may not be in government, but controlling a corporation gives me the opportunity to revamp the municipal police. They get me to provide operational plans and tools for certain neighborhoods, getting them to work with the business sector to, whether it be use of a CCTV to have operational centers. There's a lot that can be done from a local government perspective level to reduce crime. But that has been the main fact, the main topic from the voters.
Okay, you've given an idea of what is likely to happen with the NTA if you and the coalition with the UNC were to win the local government elections. You said that that will become the foundation for a larger and broader alliance. What would happen, Gary, and I know this is a hard question, what would happen if the coalition loses and the PNM wins to the NTA? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And again, you have to be a realist. I mean, yes, we have seen the polls. There's one scientific poll that we have seen so far, one. I mean, we have seen polls by other agencies, and it has NTA flying, because but people who usually do those polls, they don't actually vote. Where it's almost identical to 2007, sorry. 40% each, well, PNM slightly ahead of the UNC, 42% to 40%, the NTA with about 12-13%, and the other parties like 0.3% and so forth. So you're definitely, there's no question, you're definitely going to see, worst case scenario, a massive increase in voters against the PNM in the corridor. Whether it is going to be enough to flip over to win seats and corporations, that remains to be seen. But you can be guaranteed, because the 31 seats that we are going after, almost every seat was won by the PNM by over 500 votes.
Yeah.
Odd. And that is a lot in a local government election.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's a lot to catch up. So, is it that we are going to have the same flip over as 2010? It remains to be seen, right? We believe, we are optimistic. But as you said, the worst case scenario is you're going to see a massive increase in disenchantment and persons voting for the NTA or the UNC in those corporations along the corridor, and that spells an advantage. It means that we are kicking forward, we are moving forward. So it will be used as the starting block towards building something much bigger. Because as I said, every single time, I mean, so even though you look at the marginal seats for general election, St. Joseph, Tunapuna, San Fernando, you have a unified body of UNC with major third parties. The PNM is going to be defeated. So regardless of what the result is going to be, it will be more helpful if it is that we win corporations and seats. With this scenario, it is not going to affect the end result, the mission itself, which is 20.
All right. I want to thank you so much for coming on the program and being so forthright on your issues, presenting your point of view in favor of your party, the NTA, but also dealing with, I think, reflectively on the prospects under conditions of defeat. And in anything that we are in, there's always that prospect. You can win, you can lose, you can draw. Things can be more difficult than you anticipate. Things can flourish and be very, very good. And Gary, I want to thank you for coming. You have a very, very good day today. I know you're going to campaign the rest of the day. And please enjoy the day and have a wonderful day.
You too, Doctor. Good to see you again. Take care.
All right, good.
Of course,
Thank you very much. Sorry.
Please. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you very much for listening and watching. As I said, we are going to continue with the discussions. We've asked the UNC to come next week. They have agreed in principle. And we hope to have a representative at on next week, Monday. We've also asked the leader of PEP, Philip Alexander, and he agreed immediately, so we are going to talk to him. And as I said, we're going to ask the other parties as well, so that you can have an idea of who is involved in local government, what they are thinking, what they are doing, and what that might mean to you, and therefore what should you do as a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago and as a member of the electorate who has a vote, who has a choice, and who can make whatever decision that you consider important to you. Now,
we've got to wrap things up.
We've got to wrap things
thank
up.
you
Okay,
kindly.
well, I will close. I'll see you again next week, Monday. Thank you for being with us. You can see the show again at 3 p.m. today. And I will hand over to Zelisa, who will talk to you.
We thank you kindly, Doc. And of course, do continue to stay with us, U975 FM Multicultural Radio, reminding you, repeat at 3 o'clock on Synergy TV. Tell your friends, tell your family members. Here's reminding you that with God, all things are possible. I am Zelisa Budusing Rupani. Thank you so much for choosing us.